Hello and welcome to Mining Review Africa. And today I'm speaking to somebody who's no stranger to our audience. He's a regular contributor and we seem to be meeting at Mining Indaba every year. I'm talking to Warren Beech, who's the CEO of Beech Veltman Incorporated, about 2025, some of the trends, what transpired, and looking ahead to 2026. Warren, always great to chat to you.
Thank you, Gerard. It's sad that we only meet at Mining Indaba, but by the same token, it's good that we can all be here.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing venue and a great opportunity to talk about these important things.
Absolutely. Now, Warren, let's look back at 2025. What would you identify as the most significant legal or regulatory developments impacting the mining sector, not just in South Africa, but in Africa?
So again, there's always macro legal changes, legislation changing, whether it's South Africa or on the rest of Africa or the world for that matter. There's always changes, laws changing, and I think we've all got to the point now where legal changes are so normalized, they're there. You just need to see them, you need to plan for them, you need to deal with them before they even get into law. So I think it's more about now acknowledging that and then moving on to how it's being interpreted and how it's being applied. And the case law, the arbitrations and the case law are the more interesting developments. So again, we've had access to land and the farmers all of a sudden have this amazing confidence because there was an award which said, we're not just going to, a mining company can't just pay you for what per hectare.
Yeah.
You've got to now pay for what's in the ground and what you would have lost over. And a 4 million rand award suddenly becomes a 105 million rand award. That arbitration award a little bit left field, and that's got all the farmers incredibly confident. Then a High Court award which says, hold on, before you get access, you've got to follow the statutory process. So it's more about the interpretation application. That's South Africa. In the rest of Africa, the focus is on communities. It's about involvement of communities in the mining operations and the full value chain. So all of those changes, we've seen, again, the rise of nationalism and nationalization debates, and that was 2025. In summary, one, it's going to change all the time. It's about interpretation and application, and the same themes are coming up every year. And that's going to be going into 2026 again.
Okay. Now, talk to me about some of the commercial and legislative risks that the mining sector underestimated in 2025.
It's not just 2025. The mining companies seem generally to perhaps don't appreciate the community involvement and just how strong the communities are and how they can impact on whether a mine starts and once it's started, whether it carries on. So underestimating community involvement and the social license, number one, and number two, timelines. There is, again, particularly when you're looking at foreign investors, their understanding of timelines and how fast a government department can work is very different to ours. So when you sit and you say to them, and they said, in Australia, if we do this today, then tomorrow it's going to happen. Yeah. Well, that's not here. It doesn't happen here. We've got the capacity constraints. We've got various role players, stakeholders involved, and underestimating the timeline from the moment you start something to when you can dig the first hole, I think is underestimated, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Now, we touched on a bit of the negative, but let's look at the positives. What did the African miners sector get right last year, and how do they carry this forward into 2026?
So again, South Africa is a bit of an outlier. I think that many of the African countries got it right. So they got their legislative certainty in place, they got their policy certainty. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. The certainty is quite important. And when you're talking about local content, and we saw a lot of local content amendments last year across Africa, and it doesn't matter what it is, as much as knowing what it is. And it's important to know what it is so you can plan, deal with it, and you can take the risk of the investment or not. So those countries that are getting it right on the certainty side are doing well. Whether it is local beneficiation and saying it's not going out the country, as long as people know what the playing field looks like, it's better.
Absolutely. Now, you said that there are countries that are getting this right, and I'm going to put you on the spot, Chess. Are there any examples that you'd like to share with us?
There are the very typical stable countries. So Botswana, Zambia, always stable. You know what you're getting. And even when they change it, there's sufficient time to work around those changes. So certainly Zambia, Botswana, very, very good. DRC has unfortunately had its own complications, but still relatively, you understand what you're getting in the DRC. Unfortunately, Guinea, Mali, and that have not. But for my top three stable would be Zambia, Botswana, and to a lesser extent the DRC.
Okay. Now, Warren, can you talk to me about the importance of regulatory certainty and stakeholder trust in attracting investment into the African mining sector?
Well, I'm going to contradict myself. 4 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, I said to you, regulatory certainty is important.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. But it's de-emphasizing a very important thing for me, and that is it's too focused on whether you've got regulatory certainty or not. And I think it takes away the focus on the full value chain. And the emphasis this year, and the same with Mining Indaba, Stronger Together, is the value chain and the full value chain, not just extraction. Too much focus on extraction, not enough on the value chain, and certainly the midstream value chain. And if we're driving constantly for regulatory certainty, we're not looking at the other opportunities. If you're waiting for regulatory certainty, you're missing the opportunities. And I think again, this year is another opportunity. We're going to see it. The value chain, the importance, working together, stronger together, and just shifting that focus from extraction and that being the objective and that requiring regulatory certainty to seeing the opportunities along the way.
Absolutely. Now, finally, Warren, I asked you this question last year as well. If you had to give one piece of advice to mining executives to succeed in 2026, what could that be?
3 things. 1, surround yourself with people that know what they're doing. And if you go it alone, and CEOs and C-suite people often want to do that, where we see the C-suite being positive and successful, it's because they listen to people, they take people in, and it's a multidisciplinary approach. You'd get everybody involved. Number 1. Number 2, don't underestimate the communities. And they have the power, they hold the power. And it's not just a case of talking to the communities when you start your mine, it's along the way. And if you don't take them on the journey, next week your mine will be on stop. And then number 3, your stakeholder relationships broadly with government, absolutely vital. And that brings me back to the point about timelines. Manage your expectations, manage your timelines, and don't try and rush things. The moment you rush things, things are going to go wrong.
Absolutely. Well, Warren, always great chatting to you and hearing your insights. Thank you for joining us on Mining Review Africa today.
Thank you, Gerard. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Warren.
Thank you.